It's so exciting to be sitting down with you. So as you may or may not know, this podcast is called Invisible Roadmap.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay. So it's called Invisible Roadmap because...
I'm glad I was briefed.
Hi, I'm Bruna Papandrea, film and TV producer, female founder and CEO. And this is Invisible Roadmap, a show about the people who build extraordinary lives without a roadmap. No connections, no shortcuts, just grit, courage and belief. Each week, I sit down with successful people to uncover their decisions, the failures and the moments that define their lives, and the unpaved paths they took to get there. Asha, hi.
Hi.
Welcome. I've known you now for, I don't even know how long, but a lot.
Well, it feels so
meet?
much longer than it actually has been.
Yeah.
So we did a panel together in beautiful Hamilton.
Oh, that's right. That's when we first met. Yes.
And we first met there.
Yeah.
And I felt so drawn to you, but we really didn't have time to get to know each other.
Yeah.
I had a baby of 6 weeks old at that stage, and was it 6 weeks? No. That was another trip. God,
I was going to say.
No. That was a different trip that I was there. Yes, no, I had a small child. We just didn't have time to get to know each other, and we were on a panel. But we met at a mutual friend's birthday in LA.
Yeah.
And it was effortless and exciting. And both you and Steve and Leanne, our very good friend, was desperate for us to connect. And that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny because I was thinking about it. You know, we've obviously worked together now. 9 Perfect Strangers the first time.
Yeah.
Which was a crazy story in itself. So, as you know, I was a massive Offspring fan, which is where I really got to, I was living overseas for the last 20-something years.
Yes.
So I would somehow find a way. My mother would get Offspring to me wherever we were in the world.
Yeah.
It was the one show Steve and I watched together. And I can't tell you how many times we would be like, oh my God, we've got to work with her one day. Like, it was like you were like a mutual person. Like, we have to work with her one day.
I love that.
And obviously, the 9 Perfect Strangers, I think because you'd had that really early connection with Nicole, but because she was also a fan, it was such an organic, amazing opportunity. Even before we were filming here, we had cast you as Heather.
Yes.
So I was thinking about this. So we've had that experience together, which is very intense. Acting role. And then...
Well, just an intense part of life.
Intense part of life, yes. Right at the beginning of COVID.
Yes.
And then obviously Lost Flowers of Alice Hart.
Yes.
And it was there that I was like, oh God, I don't know. Would she consider anything lighter? Which is when we gave you the script for Strive.
Yes.
And then obviously we've had that experience. So I think for me, I've worked with you so much as an actor, and then obviously on Strive that turned into a partnership, where you obviously producing with us. And so we've had this kind of amazing connection on the work front. And also I would say we've become I think you're a bit like me in the sense that as you get older, and I don't think this is untrue for many women particularly, you're a bit more reluctant to let people in as you get older, because at the point that, you're in your 40s, you've kind of got a pretty established group of friends, right? So
yes,
what happened to me in the last few years is some of my closest friends, and I include you in that, I've made when I've been older.
Recently.
Yeah, in the last 10 years, I would say.
Exactly the same for me.
Yeah, because I think for someone to be let in at that point, I think you really have to, there's a level of emotional trust that has to happen.
Yes. And you really have to feel it and know it, I think, at this age. That's what I've noticed.
And I think you do. I think we're both we have a very strong instinct, I think, immediately.
Bullshit detector.
We have a good bullshit detector, exactly. So what I'm curious about, without, feeling too prosaic, if you will, is like, what are the things for you, and I can tell you in a minute what they are for me, but that, like, when you were young, what were some of the things that kind of led you to where you are today that might not be, obvious? Like, what are some of the decisions you made when you were younger, or some of the things that you might have been interested in that weren't necessarily obvious that you were going to become an actor, but that somehow
that
led
are
to that
obvious
place.
to me
Yeah, things
now.
you did, things you were interested in.
I think there's a couple of things. If I look back at myself, if I think back to being a little girl and the things that interested me, one would be that I was obsessed with people.
Yeah.
Not anyone in particular, just obsessed with watching people and absorbing and listening. I have amazing ears, apparently, so my family and friends tell me.
Well, I know that's true. You also have an amazing recall. You have an amazing memory for detail.
Yes, I just am interested in detail. And if I think back to myself as a younger girl, and it's still true of me now, I know that was something early on. I spent a lot of time being quiet, actually. I definitely had my moments where I was overt and overtly expressive and wanted to perform and did for family and friends, pretending I was, Irene Cara and all sorts of
Me too, because you do very
Cara as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're a tiny bit younger than me, but our references.
Not really.
A little bit, tiny bit, just a little bit. I mean, we're both 40. But it is there that
Yeah.
exactly. I think
Yes.
of Fame. I think of
Yes.
Grease. I think
Yes,
of
Grease.
I
Although with
mean,
the same
we have a
things.
lot of
We've
references.
talked about this.
Yeah.
That's right. So I think I was, but essentially, I think I was really quite quiet, not shy, just quiet, and it's because I was absorbing all the time. Now that can be a problem too sometimes. Because you're then taking on people's energy and that's still true of me now. I'm much more conscious of it, I suppose. Bit more self-protection going on than there was when I was a little girl. But I know that I did that. And I also spent a lot of craved nature and aloneness, alone time, and to be with my horses and that as well, I think, and throughout my life, growing up, but then certainly as an adult, gave me a lot of thinking space.
Yeah.
And it was never for me really a question about what I could do. It was more, how am I going to do it? I learnt how to be alone really early because I started acting really early too. And
How
I was
old were
going
you?
away from home for months at a time.
Yeah.
And I was 9.
9.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the spending time in nature and in space, I mean, that gives you extraordinary inspiration if you can sit in it. But if you're a person that can actually sort of immerse yourself in that way, either with animals, it happened to be horses for me, but it really was the alone time, the dreaming time, the getting inspired time, I suppose. But also that absorbing people's behaviour and wanting to work it out.
Yeah.
I just wanted to understand the world and people's behaviour from a really young age, I think.
And then once you started doing it, was there a moment, and I know you obviously worked a lot in the theatre when you were younger as well, which is
through my
completely,
20s,
through your 20s.
I never was on the stage before that, ever,
No.
even a school play.
So you came up, so that's why you understand the camera so well. So you came up, obviously being filmed from a very young age. What was that first opportunity?
That was, funnily enough, 5 Mile Creek with Nicole Kidman.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
I know, we've laughed about that. Yeah. That was amazing and I loved it. I mean, I kind of just slotted in and just
And then from
really
that
enjoyed
point,
it.
could you imagine yourself doing anything else? Was that the thing once you got a taste for it?
Oh, yes, that was the thing.
Yeah. What I was thinking really this morning, actually, before I was going to talk to you was that, so we'd kind of had this work together. We're both a pretty similar age. We both have children very similar ages.
Yes.
We had to have children at very similar ages.
Mm.
But the thing I think that really fully connected me to you in a way that was kind of life-changing for me was when I realized you also had been diagnosed with lupus. And I, this is a terrible thing to say, But I was happy because it's a terrible thing to say.
I know.
I was like, should I say this? No, I was happy because I think for me, and I'd met a few other really high-functioning, successful women who had it, and it just always made me feel better because I was like, okay, well, if they can operate at this amazing level of
Yes.
success, then, I can do it too.
Mm.
But I think the biggest thing for me was until you have had a kind of extreme autoimmune disorder like lupus, no one really understands. It is, you
No.
can talk about it, and it's also a really
Yeah.
hard thing to talk about
Well,
because
it's
so
also
ambiguous.
difficult to explain.
Yeah.
And I choose not to until now is the first time I've ever spoken
Well,
about
thank
it
you for sharing.
publicly.
Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
it
of
here
course. I
because
mean, I feel safe talking about it now, but also I don't feel the need to self-protect in that way.
yeah,
In the same way about a lot of things, in the same way as I used to even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But by the same token, I also hold things much closer to my chest now, unless it's with my people, my inner circle. So it's good to talk about it. Actually, I feel relieved. I do. I actually feel relieved that we're talking about it because
also, I don't think
it
there's
was a secret for me for a really long time because I didn't know, I didn't want to be I didn't know how to explain it and talk about it.
Yeah.
When I was first diagnosed with it, which was when I was just before I got pregnant with my boy, Valentino. So I was 39, 40.
Oh, so like identical to me, by the way.
Yeah.
We got diagnosed. It's not
Exactly the same
uncommon.
time.
They say that that's
At that
around the age that it presents for a lot of people. But that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so I haven't, and then I didn't know how to talk about it for all these years. And I thought, well, why does anyone want to know that about me? And then it goes further. And I think, in kind of a strange way, I thought, well, if I don't offer up an insight into too much in my private life, why would I then become someone that speaks about an autoimmune condition that's chronic, that's difficult to explain, that a lot of people wouldn't be able to connect with?
Yeah.
What's the point of discussing it? But actually there is a point to discussing our health.
I think there is.
And I'm starting to feel more comfortable discussing my health because it's still my business.
Yeah.
It's your business.
Yeah.
But if it can enlighten or help or connect in some way, we should talk about it.
And I think
like menopause.
Like well, that's what I was.
That,
exactly. And that's what I was about to say to you is I think that it's part of such a bigger conversation because, I mean, I know you and I feel the same about, the balance is bullshit kind of narrative.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, I do believe you can have it all, just not all at once.
Yes,
what
I
I
like
say.
that you say that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because I do think we do. I think you and I, we've had such amazing career highs, obviously, motherhood highs, work highs, life highs, travel highs. There's so much.
Just not all at once.
But just not all at once.
That's right.
And I think that one of the things about when I started talking about lupus, one of the things, and whether it's lupus or other, challenges people face, I think that number one, it normalizes it, which I think is crucial, particularly for women who feel, I mean, I felt this. I think there was a level of fear I had about disclosing it. Are they going to think that I can't go away and make a film for 2 months?
Right.
Am I
so
gonna,
I had that too.
Yeah.
I worried.
Yeah.
I worried about it for years, thinking don't say anything because then they'll think you can't cope.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to lead a show and it's not like that.
No.
I can cope.
No. Yeah.
But we deal with it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
There's ways to help yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just be clear about this. You are much better at this than I am.
Well, I am older.
And I just don't tell
only
you.
in the last few
I
years.
just don't tell you. You are much better at this, the self-care, than I am. I am not. It's not my strong point, self-care. It's just not. I'm having a lupus day today, and you probably no one could see that. It's not visible except for the cuts on my hands and the bleeding knuckles and my wrists are killing me. That sort of stuff, right? That's happening today, but more than anything, it's fatigue. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting here feeling like my eyes are going like that and I can't stop them. I'm sure I don't look like that,
Yeah.
but that's what the feeling is
Yeah.
inside. So it's a feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. And I made jokes that I'm a little bit older than you, but the truth is I have only discovered in the last 2 years, I would say, how to really start looking after
I
myself.
know. I've watched you do it.
So
Yeah.
it's not like, oh yeah, this has been such a trial and error thing for me.
Yes.
I've gone backwards more than I've gone forwards.
Yes.
I think in the last few years, honestly, because I have some stuff, obviously, not obviously, I've never talked about it, but because I have inflammation on my
That's
brain,
right. Yeah.
because I have brain stuff going on, it's the stuff it's really invisible.
No, you have to.
Yeah,
you have
that's
to
when
go, wow. Okay. That's
Yeah.
how mine was diagnosed. Was
Yeah.
the brain was inflamed.
Yeah.
Like horribly.
Yeah, and I think we can talk about that for a minute because I think that's one thing that people don't really know. So I didn't know until it happened to me, is that when you have lupus, you can have inflammation anywhere in your body. So the obvious things, how I got diagnosed is I had lots of pains in my hands and feet.
Yeah.
But then I'd often just have pains behind my eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
I get
I'm
those
inflamed
too.
behind my eyes.
Yeah.
Or it can be a leg. Or you can have some, fogginess. Your
Or the
arms.
jaw.
The jaw.
When the nodules.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of different symptoms, but when they're isolated, you think, oh, I must sort of have a sore throat or something like that. And generally, when something's off and there's inflammation somewhere, I take a moment and go, oh yeah, that's right. I've got lupus.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Oh, I'll help myself a little bit more today.
Yeah.
I do help myself. I'm starting to get a bit better at it.
Yeah.
I'm certainly better, but just not as committed as you are with infrared.
Well, I
and
think
ice baths and I mean, you'd have to literally push me.
Well, you
into
say
one
that I am
unit.
going to push. I'm going to push you in. I'm going to hold you under because I think that we all need people to recognize and support us in different ways.
absolutely.
Yeah, obviously.
But when you're a really private person too, or you're discerning about who does come near you, or who you emotionally intimate with, it is just, that is truly been one of the, and that's been one of the biggest joys of my life in the last 5 years, is being with people like you, and there's only a few, that actually know who I am and understand the vulnerabilities. And there's many, maybe strengths, but there's vulnerabilities too, because we can't do what we do unless we are vulnerable.
Yeah.
So that is a joyful feeling for me. It literally puts a smile on my face every day and gives me confidence. And I think
She's gonna make me cry.
so, me too. But it's true, and you know that.
Yeah.
There's we're very, I feel really, really blessed in that way, that at this point in life, some friendships have formed and collaborations professionally where I literally can, for the first time ever, be my authentic self at work and personally. Without feeling like I'm going to let anyone down, or I'm going to fall short, or I'm going to be too much, or all the things I grew up feeling as an actor, wanting to become a producer as well,
But it's interesting you talk about that because I think that, one of the things I think, this is something I think about all the time is, this has been my experience, even of me. I still think there is this kind of very systemic double standard. If women internalize and they're not, super, verbal and lovey-dovey, then I think they can. Well, the two things that can happen. When I know what I want, I've been known to be called bossy, and if I retreat a little bit, then you're cold, right? Whereas men do not. This is the one thing. When people say to me, all the time, well, have you experienced, this kind of sexism in Hollywood? Have you had, what's your treatment been? And for the most part, my two first mentors were amazing men.
Yes.
So I've had a really good experience. And the thing I do say, though, is there is, culturally, there is a really big double standard in terms of if we're just behaving normally and we're focused and we're operating with a level of seriousness, we can be accused of, I don't want to say being a bitch, but I've certainly experienced that. I've seen female directors have to tread that line very carefully.
Same.
Because I've seen
over
female
and
directors
over.
behave exactly like men, and people respond to them in a completely different way.
Very differently.
And I think it's,
Is
this
that
is the one
we
thing.
keep surrounding ourselves
With
with
women.
each other, and
With so
women.
many women.
No, but with women
Yeah.
that understand what you're talking about.
I think
now.
so. I think that, and I think
that's
with
right.
men that understand that. So
Yes.
yeah,
for
no,
sure.
I think
Yeah,
that's right. I think both with the
Or don't feel
choices.
threatened by it or
No,
scared
I think,
by
yeah,
it.
choices of, either be it, producing partners, writers like Sarah Scheller, who are just, I mean, look, I think we've been very lucky, you and I, or we've made a conscious choice,
Yeah.
even with people like Glendon Ivan,
Yeah.
who's just a big girl. I'm kidding, I say that, but like who are just so warm. Imogen Bags,
Open, gentle.
Leanne, who
not
works with
controlling.
you, Sarah Scheller, people who really good at what they do, but who are also really good humans. And I think you and I, as much as possible,
Well, and
try and
also
surround
want
ourselves
to
with that.
empower you,
Yeah.
right? That's what I'm enjoying so much, and
Yeah.
that I think that we both do well, if I do say so myself, with people around us, that like crews and ensembles and stuff, to just back people, and you've chosen to work with them, back them, empower them.
Yeah.
I like it when people do that with me, whether they're a man or a woman. I worked with a DP for many years who was a guy,
John
John
Brawley.
Brawley.
See, I knew who you were talking about.
And
well, because I've heard you talk about him in a way that
was an incredible relationship, and I would like to pick it up again. I have to say, we're just trying to find the right thing to work together on. Apart from the fact that he is truly brilliant, visionary, cinematographer and storyteller. We really grew up together through Offspring, 10 years of it almost. And he allowed me to become a leader.
Yeah.
As opposed to
Oh God, I love that. I just say I love that. I love the way you say that. Like
he supported it. He watched it quietly. He encouraged me at every point to step forward and lead because I had to. That was what was required.
Yeah.
Whether or not we were working with a handful of male directors that didn't want me to do that.
Yeah.
He was a man in the industry that really quietly pushed me a little bit to step forward and find my voice and find that way to lead if you're at the centre of a show. It doesn't work if you can't do it.
No. Yeah, and I think the thing that I think has wowed me about you, and again, this goes to the Jane Fonda thing. We all have 3 acts. She's famously, I don't know if you ever saw the Jane Fonda documentary. It's fascinating, but she had so many acts and lines. And I feel that weirdly both of us, so watching you produce, I mean, you have a recall that is so much better than mine. I'm not really good at remembering the specifics of, no, but I'm not good at remembering the specifics of exactly what we shot on a day, what take worked, what take didn't.
I've been inside it in a different way, I suppose.
Oh no, but even
when I do something I'm not in, if someone ever bloody lets me do that, then it would be interesting to see whether that level of detail
but even
is
when
there.
you're not in the scene, you have a very, which is why you will be a director. I mean, I don't think every actor should be a director, and there's plenty that are, but how I feel about that. That your level of kind of understanding of, number one, how the camera moves, what's been shot, how it comes together in the edit is amazing. And I think
I love it.
Yeah, you love it.
Yeah.
You love it. And I think that is, I think that'll be a natural evolution to you. One of the things that I think about a lot in terms of life, and it goes back to where we started in terms of, watching the world. How do you find creativity?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I've also, the older I get, I'm like, there's so much I want to do and see.
Yeah. Yeah.
More now than ever.
Yes, absolutely.
And we've seen a lot.
Yeah. But what is that? Is that about finding confidence that is new? Because I feel there's a new confidence and I don't even know how to put my finger on it.
No, I think it's a curiosity.
Or is it curiosity?
Yeah, I think it's that. I think as you watch your children grow and you start to see the world through their eyes, you want to... Yeah, definitely that. How do you... I mean, we obviously... Our kids are very similar in age. And,
Well, have similar things to deal with.
Yeah,
in
that
life, I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
yeah, and I think, I think, goes back to the kind of balance is bullshit thing. I mean, even today, I can't. I left the house. My son was, not 100%.
Mm.
My daughter was just like mournful that I was leaving
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
They understand that, in order to do my job, I have to go to America a
Yeah.
lot. But they understand it. But at the end of the day, they're still kids who
That's
just
right.
want
They
their
just want their
parents.
parents. Yeah.
And how have you found a way to navigate, the intensity of what you do and the time it takes, and then balancing that?
Mm. As you know, that's not easy.
No.
It's not an easy ride for anybody in the family when we're in a shoot period.
Yeah.
Let's just call it the shoot period. Around that, it's okay. I think the shoot periods, though, are just so intense.
Yeah.
And I think as my boys have gotten older, I mean, you explain it to them in a child-appropriate way when they're little,
Yeah.
but they're generally coming with you. So as your kids did, my kids came everywhere with me.
Yeah.
Particularly Val, you
Yeah.
know. So
I think it gets harder as
it gets
yeah, it's
harder.
harder now. I
That's
think.
right.
Yeah.
It gets harder as they're getting older.
Yeah.
But then you start talking to them in a way that they understand.
Yeah.
And Val is at the moment, because the last 2 years have been particularly busy.
Yeah.
He's now asking quite often, when's the next one?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've been home for 9 months now, not shooting, right?
Yeah.
And that's been amazing.
Yeah.
And I've needed to do that
Yeah.
for myself, but
Yeah.
also for the kids. And I'm so happy to spend my life on the side of a soccer pitch for a year.
Yeah.
Because I can also produce now. So
Yeah.
that's just given me so much. I
Yeah.
can't tell you, because I get up in the morning, I'm productive. I've always got something to read. I've always got something to make notes on. I've always got something to watch and think about. And it's filled up the creative life so much.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Oh, I mean, I just can't remember what I did before I
Yeah.
was producing a few years ago. I can't. It's like not being able to remember what you did, how you lived before you had kids.
Yeah.
It's a similar feeling,
Yeah.
actually, because it just feels so right.
Yeah.
However, going back to the kids, I think during the shoot period, I am you've watched me, I just have to be so super organized.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have to fret or think if I'm in another state. I mean, as you know, I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. On a Friday, go back Sunday, go back Friday, go back Sunday. But when I'm here and I prepare really carefully on a Sunday, when I get to
Yeah.
wherever I am by myself
Yeah.
for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. I know. I always think of what you do.
Because
It's
I
like
never come
now,
for dinner.
No, but you know how some people
Or
meal.
do.
You know how some people meal prep for the week on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You're just doing all the prep on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday's
All
almost
of
like
It's just my
yeah.
full-blown work
Yeah.
day.
I mean,
right?
the thing I've been thinking so much about, which I think you experience, is it's really hard when you love what you do.
Yeah.
To not want to do it
I
all
know.
the time. I mean,
But I
think
tell
about
them
this
that
all
I
the
want
time.
to do it. This is something
You
I
have
learned
to.
very
Me
early
too.
on.
I think you might have taught me,
I don't
actually.
know who. I read it somewhere.
No, I feel
when
like
was
you
much
might have said
younger,
it to
and
me
I've
when
said
we
it to
first
you,
met.
I think.
Yeah.
I tell them,
Yeah.
and have always
Yeah.
since they were babies,
Yeah.
screaming
Yeah.
for me not to go. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They're fine. But they used to. Clinging and the
Yeah.
agony
Oh,
of
yeah.
it. Don't go,
Yeah.
don't leave me, all that. I used to say, I never said I have to go.
Yeah.
I learnt this ages
Yeah.
ago, and I can't remember, was when I
No, I
hadn't
feel like
even
you
had
must
Val.
have. You
Luca
must
was
have
my-
told me because I
Yeah.
know what you're going to
I
say.
say,
Yeah.
I say, Mummy wants to go and do my work.
Yeah.
Because I love my
Yeah.
work. I love my job. I feel really lucky that I can do something I feel passionate
Yeah.
about in life. And I want that for you
Yeah.
as well. I love you. I'm coming back. I'm going to be gone for
Yeah.
3 nights or 4 nights, whatever. It's never more than a week. And so that they don't feel like it's a terrible place I'm going to.
Yeah, and also I think
And I
it's
always
yeah,
bring them
yeah.
to
I
it.
don't know who told me, but I think it might have been you. But I remember saying it
I've
to
talked-
Abby for the first time. I didn't say Mummy has to go to work. I said Mummy loves what she does, and she
right.
was a person before she had you who
Yeah.
loved what she did.
Yeah.
And because it's so crucial, right? Particularly, with my daughter, I think this, like, they
Yeah.
have to know that, yes, I miss them. Yes, it's hard,
Yeah.
but that, I love it.
Well, it
And
gives them
yeah,
the information too,
yeah,
as opposed to them trying to fill in the holes
yeah.
and thinking, Mum's at a place she doesn't want to be at. She'd rather be here with me. That just actually creates anxiety.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for them.
Although it does put a lot of pressure on the weekends, because I
Of course.
remember my son saying I
Oh
had to
my
do,
God.
if I ever have to do anything for work, which I try not to on the weekends, he's like, the weekends are basically ours. Like,
Oh, yeah.
why would
I
you
know.
ever want to go out to dinner with anyone else
Yeah,
other
yeah.
than me
I
on a
know.
weekend?
Yes, exactly.
And
we
yeah,
have the same thing
Yeah.
going on. And I don't. I just go home and I do all the footy and the soccer and cook the dinners and
thank God
get
my
all
kids
the
don't play
washing done.
sports. I mean, at least I've
Yeah.
dodged that bullet.
7
I'm
days a
kidding.
week.
I'm kidding, but I'm
7
not
days
kidding.
a week between Luca and Val, we do. It's intense.
I think the other thing people don't know
Mm.
about what you and I do, and this is true for both of us, is so much of what we do is unpaid, right? So the only time we're ever making money is when we are literally filming,
Yes.
right? Anything when we develop a book that we are now and we do all that work,
Mm.
none of that's paid.
No
and for
money.
you, I'd go
No,
one step
that's right.
further. You then have to go out and sell
Yeah.
what you've made, which is, can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about that? Because that's a whole nother job.
Mm.
Once
the selling part.
I mean, you have to go out and do a lot of publicity, and then, forget about the
Yeah.
edit of something, which is also another part of the process.
Yeah.
But you have to go out and, go to award ceremonies, shoot covers for magazines, do interviews. Like, it is a whole nother part of your job.
Yes, it is. Do you like to swap?
No, I don't. When I've had to do an interview, I've had to do some interviews, but not many. But even when I've done,
The interviews are fine.
I know,
It's
but
okay.
is there no
oh,
point you get
okay.
sick of like just saying the same? No.
Not really. I'm kind of feel like easy about doing interviews now. I just do it all in one hit on a
Yeah.
day. Whether it's on Zoom or it's in person, if I come up if I travel to do a junket or what doesn't,
Yeah.
you just get it done. It's part of it. I think I used to, like most young actors do, whinge about it when, in the early days. Now, I really want to sell it.
Yeah.
I want to sell the work. I want to feel proud of it and I want to talk about it. It certainly helps now being a producer.
Yeah, I
have
was
to
going to
say,
ask that.
because I don't love talking about me the whole time. I don't think that's productive and it's not that interesting. I find it boring listening to other actors do that. But I don't find it boring when I see a couple of creatives in conversation.
Yeah.
And there's different perspectives as well.
Yeah.
I just don't love the celebrity interview type thing, but
Yeah.
I'm able to, to some extent, with Leanne and you and some other people around me, choose how to sell a project so that it doesn't just look like celebrity snapshots and clickbait. I'm really not interested in that. I would be I'd much rather shut down the Instagram account and not give written interviews because everything's used out of context and whatever. I can't control it, so whatever. You got to do it. It's part of the job. I actually don't mind that part anymore, as I said, because I care about the projects. I want to push out there and I want them to reach.
Yeah.
And without that part of the job that actors do, they don't reach in the same way. You've got to, people have got to watch it.
Yeah, no, that's the hard thing. Again,
Yeah.
you can, I've made things where, I can do everything. We can even have input into the poster and the trailer, and still they're not necessarily always put out in the way. I mean, there's certain things you can't control. But I think when you care so deeply, which we do, and it's why I'm very like, look, it's why I will never, I'll talk about the things I love, but I won't really talk about the things I don't like because I just know how hard it is to get anything made.
Yes.
And, no one starts out wanting to make it something that didn't work, So I think you and I, again, both share that. The where I'd love to
encouragement,
kind
yes.
of kind of finish up and talk about is the thing again. One of the reasons I so desperately wanted to talk about a host of different subjects and people's whose lives I kind of look at and I'm so fascinated by how they got to where they are and how they're walking through life is because I think that, we grew up in the golden era. Now I realize that. Like before COVID, nothing really bad had ever happened. I mean, in terms of, the world that
golden
we
era.
live in.
Yeah.
Golden era.
Yeah.
And I feel like terrible, but I feel like our kids inherited, we've kind of messed up the environment and, there's a lot that exists in the world and maybe that's because we're so over communicated and because we've got so much information coming at us. But the thing that I also feel is coming at young people is a lot of negativity. And I think that where we felt we could do anything, and I certainly always felt that, I felt like my dreams were completely available to me, and particularly when I went to America, which is the land of golden opportunity.
But you must have had that pushed down in you at times with different people coming into your life.
Not really, no.
See, I did.
No.
Enormously.
Yeah. Well,
and
that's
I had
interesting.
to push against that.
Yeah.
Which makes it even sweeter now.
Well, no,
But-
it is. That is
Yeah.
sweeter. But I think it also puts you in a great position and me in a great position, which is, I just don't want young people to feel like the world is not their oyster, that they can
Yes.
do anything they want, particularly in our business.
Yes.
In this creative business, and particularly with AI kind of obviously becoming, I feel like I'd never heard the word before 2 years ago, and that's all we talk
I
about.
know.
But I just don't, because it too will evolve. And of course, there's going to be maybe those opportunities will be different for young people. But it kind of takes me to the kind of two questions I ask everybody at the end, which is, number one, like, what would you say to your kind of 18-year-old self, which for me, 18 is the time certainly for me where I was trying to decide, would I go to university? Which university would I go to? What do I want to study? Who did I want to be? If you could say to that person now, if you could give her a piece of advice, what would that be?
I think I've talked about this before, and it really is the truth. This is what I'd say, so I'll say it again. I would talk to her about not waiting too long to show everybody how brave you are. That's what I would talk to her, that young person about, my younger self. Because I was just sort of had fears that stopped me from pushing forward for quite a long time. And I listened to other people too much.
Yeah.
And absorbed their fears and their, sense of feeling threatened or whatever it might have been over the years. Yeah,
it's so funny you say that, because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and it's a really consistent thing you hear. And in fact, Keddie talked about it recently and I really responded to that. It's like, I sometimes, even in doing what I'm doing with this podcast, I've been thinking about it for years. And it wasn't fear that stopped me, but I think it was slightly what other people might think or, asking too many people's opinion before it to stop me doing anything. And I just made a decision that I just needed to listen to myself. And I think a lot that talks to bravery, I think.
That's what
and
I'm
it talks
talking
to leadership.
About, I wish I'd done that sooner.
Yeah, listen to that.
Yeah.
And then the other question that is something, and certainly I know what mine is, was there a moment or a person that really changed your life or changed things for you? Pivotal moment or a person in your past?
In work or in life?
Or in life. It can be either.
There's definitely been a few people, but if I think about someone that's been a constant in my life and a really solid sounding board and grounding voice and support that's helped me to make choices that perhaps I wouldn't have made without her kind of great care, it would be my sister, Bronte.
And what's the age difference between you and Bronte?
She's 3.5 years younger than me.
Oh, she's younger.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I just, I was
She's
thought she was.
definitely the more mature one.
No, but just in terms, I didn't know that
Yeah.
actually. But I knew, obviously, I've heard you talk about Bronte so much.
Yes.
But I just assumed she was your oldest big
No,
sister.
I know. Yeah, people do because of the way I speak about her.
Yeah.
And that she's that incredibly solid person, but that gives me the most joy.
Yeah.
Though, you know, the belly laugh, the crying laughter, the ability to be so completely authentic.
Yeah.
I wish everybody had that.
Well, it's a great place to end this conversation because I think that's all I ever want for the people that I know and love is like to surround themselves with people where they can be completely themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that is the key. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
like chatting and being so vulnerable and sharing everything. And
It's great.
I love you, no secret.
Yeah, I love you.
You'll always be part of the Brunaverse.
Thanks.